All right, today what we're going to do is I'm going to reconcile June 24th in Rye Capital. So I'm going to reconcile budget, what is actually spent to what I have in my projections. I tend to do this once a month, sometimes even throughout the month if I have a second or two. The key to this video is to show you how much easier it is to do it in Rye Capital versus having to try and figure it out on yourself in a spreadsheet somewhere. It would just be a pain to me. So I have my my checking account, my savings account, and my credit card hooked up to Right Capital so that it can do this. You do that through profile connections. So the first thing I do when I go in to look at my the month in to reconcile is I just go to dashboard. Oh, here, let me show you. Since I tell you guys I'll do this every single time. So here's a snapshot of my current standing in Right Capital. So whatever, I'll do that every time so you can just take a look. And one day I'll probably look at it and something will be weird and we'll have to work through it. So let's go to from dashboard. We're going to go to budget. So the first thing I do is I'll bring up the summary and I'll just kind of start going through these to see if they look right. So you'll see miscellaneous expenses. That looks okay to me. 538 remaining, food before kids, whatever, nothing crazy there. House property taxes, the reason that's so high, I pay my own and I pay them every quarter. So of course I haven't paid them yet. I have to pay them in August. So that's fine. I haven't spent anything in house lumpy expenses. Actually, it's funny. I probably have spent some because I bought a TV bracket for the back, but it was only $30. So it'll probably just be categorized because it's Amazon. I won't be able to tell. Charity, we've been catching up on some charity stuff, so that's why it went over. Out to eat, we've just been going out to eat more often. It's getting warmer. House gas, that doesn't surprise me. This is house gas. It's a shame if I click on it, it doesn't show me more, but it's just house gas, electric, utility kind of stuff. And phone's in there too. Now, what I did do is this was looking a little low to me. I only spent like 100 and something, but the reason for that, I did a little investigating, is because the gas is paid at the end of the month. And the irony of the whole thing is gas was due in June and something went wrong while I was recording the first video. So I'm having to re-record this. But when I went through it, I'm like, how come I don't see a gas bill in there? I hadn't paid the gas bill. I went through my little bills folder over there, and sure enough, the PSE&G bill is sitting there. So I paid it right away. So that was good. It identified. So then that'll go up. And then my phone bill gets billed at the end of the month, and it's only the 24th. So gifts to family, whatever. We were just giving some gifts. Car and gas, that's self-explanatory. No car repairs, entertainment. That's basically going out to eat. Oh no, this is online subscriptions. So this is probably about in the zone. As I can see here, DirecTV, or in my case, Hulu, I use now, Netflix, internet, etc. Clothing's over because we're buying stuff. Oh yeah, that reminds me. So we're going to be going on vacation for a couple of weeks. We're going to be flying out to the Midwest, renting a car and traveling around. So that starts this Saturday, June 27th or whatever. So I won't be putting out videos. I mean, I may do a couple extra in schedule, but you won't see any action from me for a couple of weeks. But I'll come back strong when I get back. Animal expenses, dog food, stuff like that. Car insurance. This turned out to be AAA, which I found in the first video, but this is just AAA, which is fine. We just did that membership. Charity for Compassion, we met that dead on, 0 over. World Vision is once a year. I may do that as a goal, so it doesn't bother me here. No, World Vision should be Vision. Hair, Beth just got her hair done for 120, so that's why this is 50 over. That's fine because it's 70 a month. The lawn, I'm paying a few extra. So you'll see it's pretty simple. Now, here's the thing that I usually look for is if I don't find any red flags here, sometimes I'll see some red flags here and I'll have to go investigate them on the transactions tab, is uncategorized. And that always happens because I don't do this all the time. So what I'll do is I'll go to, now I don't use this activity thing much. I guess the advantage is if you just want to see the total number, I don't know. And you can compare it. I guess you could, I don't know. Like I said, I don't really use this much. Let's go to transactions. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find those uncategorized ones. So I'm going to pull this down, go to uncategorized, and you'll see these are all Amazon stuff, except for this Rocket thing, which funny thing is I did the first video, I had forgotten altogether that I had subscribed to this Rocket Money budgeting tool because I'm doing something else for someone else. And this is great. I caught it. I'm like, oh, look, so I went out and unsubscribed. Um, so I'll probably just book this to miscellaneous. But you'll see these are all like Amazon Retail, Amazon Marketplace, Amazon Retail, Amazon Marketplace. So I don't know what these are. That's the only thing. I love Amazon, but I have a problem with it when it comes to categorizing it. So I tend to book all of them unless I know there's a big number somewhere. Um, like I'm going to be buying furniture for the back because I put up a TV in the back of the house. So I'm going to be buying more wicker deck furniture. I'll probably book that to house expenses, but that'll be obvious because it'll come up at like 600, $700. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check all these guys, including this one. I'm going to go edit category. I'm going to stick them all in miscellaneous. And that's always a trick, right? Like how I like to have miscellaneous as a pretty big category, and we've had this conversation before, but I like having miscellaneous as a pretty big category because I don't want to spend oodles of time like booking every little thing. It just doesn't play well for me. And as a result, clothes, I buy a lot of my clothes through Amazon, if that's not obvious. So a lot of that clothing is probably getting booked into miscellaneous, but it's all right. Okay, so I fixed those transactions. So I should be able to come to this front screen again, and I have no uncategorized transactions. Okay, so now quickly what I'll do is I'll go to budget. I'll do the current month, and I'll just start comparing. This is just yet another way for me to look for flags, right? So 175.63, that's fine. That means I spent less. 200, and this month I spent 161. That's fine. That's on target. Charity, I knew we were booking some extra charity stuff, so I'm not worried about that. Clothing, once, and not only that, if I went like this, I went last 6 months, see the charity bucket goes down. So I still have some issues with charity, but I'll figure that out. Um, let's go back to current month. So clothing went in a little higher because we're getting ready for vacation. Food. I mean, you can look at these yourself. There's, hair is 70 a month, and I had to book 120 this month. So, but that's okay because again, if I went back to the last 3 months, you'll see hair is. Wait, why is the average monthly spend 0? That's funny because including this month, oh, that looks like a little bug to me. Because if I go 3 months, this should be 3 divided by 120 is 140. So my average monthly spend should be 140. Not 140, $40 divided by the last 3 months. That's weird. I don't know. Is that a problem? Or is it does it include the current month? Maybe what it's looking at, since this month isn't ending, maybe this is looking at March, April, May, and not June. Maybe that's what it's doing. Um, I mean, like I said, I'm not going to bore you in all this stuff. This is pretty norm. I tend to keep an eye on this because this is my grace, my margin stuff. So if I go if I go year to date on this, you'll see I'm pumping a pretty good margin out on that. So an average of 700 a month extra, which is great. That over the years is $9,000. Okay, so that's basically what I do. I don't track the income. I just don't care. I kind of know how much we're making. So that's what I do. Now, one of the things I wanted to reiterate this real quick is that in capital budgets and projections are two totally different animals. They don't connect. So all these numbers you're seeing, I had to put them in as entries for budget. But if you go to Profile Blueprint, I also had to key in all these. So they're two totally separate things. So keep that in mind. The two aren't together, right? Right. Capital treats history as different than projections. So just keep that in mind. There is an option when you go into settings for budgets where you can, I'm not going to do this. I thought there was a button down here. Hold on. Huh. It must be somewhere else. See, I can only add categories. Um, and so I literally created all these expense categories from scratch. I thought there used to be a button to say create expense categories from budgets. But I don't want to waste your time looking for that because that's really probably not a big deal. You could probably Google it and get it. But it is driving me a little crazy. So the only other thing I could think of, it is settings is where my budget categories are. So you would think that would be right here somewhere. Huh. Yeah, I don't know where else it would be. The only other place I could think of it being is maybe in expenses here, somewhere in here. Add expense? No, maybe the blueprint. No, these are just so from what I know there's a way to do the button, and I think I covered it in another video somewhere. But you can in Right Capital, you can say, hey, I want you to copy all these and put them into budgets, and it does it once. It essentially does it once for you. So that way you can kind of keep track. But it kind of makes sense, right? Because you're just it's your job to look at what's going on in the past and then making sure that you're not exploding one of these. And if you do find yourself consistently going over on one of these, well, then you should go into your projections and change it there too, so that Right Capital can get a decent projection for you. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching it. I appreciate it. Subscribe on the bottom if you would, and have a great day. And remember, I'll be out for a while, so you may not see some videos for a little bit. Take care.